Coming up, Star Parker will inspire you to stand up for what's right. Then your favorite holiday songs performed by Trey Corley and the Music City Connection. It's all on Huckabee.
Well, the wonderful author and pro-life activist Star Parker recently came by the studio to talk about a startling moment when she testified on Capitol Hill. Before her interview, I want you to take a look at how disrespectfully she was treated by Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee.
When it comes to mixing the abortion issue with the challenges that we face in many of our hard-hit communities, I feel it disingenuous that the issues of Medicaid would come up and other opportunities for us to readdress what has happened and broken down in our most distressed zip codes, the way that Planned Parenthood specifically targets these particular zip codes with abortion. Abortion is the leading cause of death in the Black community today. Since Roe v. Wade was legalized, 20 million humans have been killed inside of the womb of Black women. And then on Halloween, Planned Parenthood tweets out that the Black women are safest if they abort their child rather than bring it to term. To the gentleman from Texas who brought up Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, I think that it is important that we put in record that the needs of those that are most vulnerable in society cannot be addressed with abortion. Abortion feeds a narrative that women are victims, that they have no control over their sexual impulses. And as a result of this narrative being forced down into our hardest hit communities, we're seeing now recklessness in sexual activity, and marriage has collapsed. In the 50s, 70% of Black adults were married. Today, that number is 30%. This is causing a lot more social pathologies that have to be addressed through different types of legislation, not the heartbeat bill. The heartbeat bill is to protect the innocent.
Chair, I recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, the ranking member.
Thank you. Firstly, we're in filler time waiting for somebody to come testify. And I'd also like to say that I am not disingenuous about anything I say about Medicaid or Medicare or LIHEAP or SNAP programs. And to suggest I'm disingenuous shows your ignorance or your absolute inability to deal with Congress people the way they should. I believe in those issues, and I think they're proper, and to say I'm disingenuous is just wrong, and I expect an apology.
I would ask for an apology from the gentleman from Tennessee calling our witness ignorant when it seems to me she has a whole lot more knowledge and wisdom.
She's ignorant about me.
Everybody is.
Unbelievable. Joining me now is the woman who faced that verbal abuse from Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee while she was offering her testimony on Capitol Hill. Star Parker is the founder and president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education. She is a tireless advocate for the right to life, equality for women, and advancement of minorities in America. And Star, welcome. I promise I'm going to treat you better than he did. When I saw this, when it happened, I got to tell you, I was totally shocked that a member of Congress would say something like that to anyone, much less a lady and an African-American lady who came at your own expense to go and testify. Were you shocked at the moment?
I wasn't really shocked because he's a liberal and we know what they represent in their districts. I mean, that's what they promote, abortion, they promote big government, but it was disturbing that after he came up to me and put his finger in my face and told me I'd better come to his office and apologize to him as a sitting congressman.
You didn't.
Oh no, I apologized instead to his constituents that I haven't spent more time in the Memphis area to uncover what he really represents in Washington so that they will replace him. That's who I apologize to.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You know, Congressman Cohen has one of the hardest hit zip codes in the country. In fact, they have the highest infant mortality rate in the country. I study these issues. My friend reminded me that Will Rogers said, we're all ignorant about different things, though, depends on the subject. And on the subject of abortion and the subject of welfare, oh no, these are my expert areas.
Why are you more knowledgeable than he is about those issues?
Because I learned about these things through the School of Hard Knocks. I mean, I believed the lie of the left. I believed liberals when they they tell you that your problem's somebody else's fault, or that America's racist so you don't have to mainstream, or that I'm poor because of wealthy people and they need to give me some of their money. And in believing those lies, I became very reckless in my behaviors. I had no future and became involved in criminal activity and drug activity and abortion and welfare. So I know these issues firsthand. So I think that he came up against somebody that he didn't know how to deal with it.
Well, it was one of the most atrocious things I've ever seen from many, many hours of watching congressional testimony.
Yeah, it was pretty pitiful.
But what you said in that testimony was very powerful, that the womb of a black mother is a very dangerous place in America right now.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad what we've done with abortion law. But the question on the table was there abortion law today is like slavery law of yesterday? Because I had made this proposition in my testimony that when you read verbatim Roe v. Wade and Dred Scott, there it is. It's all about humanity. And this is a crime against humanity. And I think that that's what disturbed that congressman most, is because his ideas were, you know, the emperor just was naked, and then he showed just how he really feels about people in his district.
I want to make sure our audience knows the Dred Scott decision was the 1857 decision of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right.
It basically said that a person of color was not a total human being. There were 3/5 of a human, not a full human.
Right. Well, the law, the 3/5 clause was attempting to get into law simply because the South wanted to have much more vote. They wanted to be able to count their slaves to vote so that they can keep slavery alive forever. But Dred Scott actually sued for the right to free because he was a slave, but his slave owner, his master, kept moving into free states. So he felt that I should be able to go to the Supreme Court. He did, and then the Taney decision was that, no, you're not even a human being, so how are you coming into my court? So you're absolutely right about that. We dehumanized him. Well, the baby right now in that womb is dehumanized. And what we're saying in Heartbeat is, wait a minute, we know too much today. We're not in the 70s anymore. We have sonogram. We can hear that heartbeat. And if there is one, then the 14th Amendment should protect that innocent life. And so that's what the comparison was.
You are a person, as you just mentioned, once you were on welfare, that was your life. What was it that turned things around for Star Parker?
So I got born again. And in that, my life started really changing. And the more I fed on TBN, the more I went into church on Sunday morning and Tuesday night for the Bible study, the more things changed. And then finally, the pastor, looking at 4,000 people one day, just pointed his finger and said, "Why are you living on welfare?" And I'm like, how does he know I live on welfare? And then he said, "The government is not your source, God is."
And you know, when I think about your journey, it is a miraculous journey, and where you are, the influence that you're having on people is so dramatic. I just
it's crazy,
thank you
isn't
so.
it?
Well, no, it's wonderful. It's what it is. But I also want to say that you are welcome here anytime, and as you can see, you will not be treated here like you were by Congressman Cohen at the House of Representatives ever. Star Parker devotes her whole life to address issues of culture, race, and poverty from, as you very clearly heard, a faith-based conservative perspective. And I hope you will visit her website, starparker.com. You should read her commentaries, discover her books, attend one of her speaking engagements. I've known Star for several years. She is one of my heroes. Star, thank you for joining us. What an honor to have you here.
Oh, I love it. Thank
Great
you.
to see you. Star Parker.
Coming up, we get to know the band members of the Music City Connection as they play our favorite Christmas songs on Huckabee.